Hey everyone, just waiting for everybody to kind of get online before we get started here.
Hi, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good.
Hey everyone, just waiting for everybody to kind of get online before we get. There we go. And I had forgot to turn down my computer. So I hope everybody's doing good. Hi Marta, how are you? I see your comment. You'll notice me looking down quite a bit because I have my computer here so I can actually see the comments and say hi to everybody. Hey Richie. Like I said, we're just waiting just to get a couple more people on here. We're going to go ahead and get started. Yes, I did get a haircut. I just saw that, Shannon. The salon's open, so we were able to get haircuts. Thank gosh. It took me a week, but it's fine. So, hey, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started today. My name is John Aultman. I am the Colors by Gina International Director. With me today, I have Chenille Pauls, who is an international artist, and we're going to go into depth with our pure mixers. I love our mixers, and there's a lot of different ways we can use them. And I'm going to pull this little thing up so you can see them. And Chenille's made some amazing colors with these that she's going to go over, and she has swatched them out and also show you a short little technique to how to use these. So Chenille, go ahead.
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be here. First of all, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm, first of all, very thankful to Gina for giving me the opportunity to do this, and then also like for us to get to learn together during all of this. It's really awesome that we get to grow as a result of this. So I get to teach you guys about our pure mixers. I think one of the best benefits we have with the Colors by Gina line is that everything is intermixable. And one amazing feature of that is they've created 5 pure mixers for us that we can mix into our colors. We can mix them into our toners. We can use them for color correcting, and we can use them as direct dyes. So I do want to give you guys a little, John kind of showed you, but we do have our red. That's our 0.66. We have our violet, which is a 0.22. We have our gold, which is a 0.33. And then we have our copper, which is a 0.44. Sorry, I'll hold this a little closer so you guys can see. And then we do have our blue, which is a 0.22 or a 0.11. Sorry. I got a little touch of dyslexia for a second. So we have all 5 of those, and they're interchangeable. You can mix them with each other. We always want to keep our color wheel in mind that certain colors don't play well. But another cool feature is you can put these on top of blondes and brunettes. Blondes, you're going to get your most vibrant um, color. You're going to notice it the most, but you can also put it on a brunette. So, for example, this swatch was on it's on a blonde. This is the same pure mixer. It's the 0.66 on a brunette. So you can see the difference. Like the vibrancy is really going to detail on how you prep your model. So for me, I think it's super important when we're using this as a direct dye that we lighten the hair with the lightning dust by Colors by Gina. And then we use our toners to make sure we have an even canvas. My go-to toner for something like this is a 10.0 because it's just going to even everything out so that I can get a nice even saturation and even color throughout the color. So I also wanted to show you guys, I made some colors and some formulas for us to work on and just kind of to inspire you guys. And the first one I want to show you guys is a ruby red. So this is our this right here is our 0.2, our violet, with a little bit of 0.66. So the formula I used was 2 grams of 0.22 and I'm sorry, 4 grams of 0.22 and 2 grams of 0.66. And so that gives you like a nice violet with just a little hit of red. So it does have a very rosy color to it. Um, the second color I'm going to show you guys is our lava. And our lava, we actually used our toner color, which is a 0.02, And we mixed it with a dot. And when I say a dot, I mean like a pearl about the size of a pea. And I mixed it with 0.44, a dot of 0.66, and a dot of 0.33. So with that, like you can also formulate that up a little bit. I just did that because I'm working with a swatch. You could easily do like 5 grams of 0.02 with 1 gram of 0.44, 1 gram of 0.66, and a dot of 0.33. The 0.33 you're going to want less of just because we're just trying to like smooth it out with a little bit of gold. The next color I'm going to talk to you guys about is we have our peach. And this one was a nightmare. I work across the hall from John, and I spent like 90% of like this week walking into his salon being like, is this peach? Is this peach? Like, so this formula is a 0.02. So I used our toner again, and that's 4 grams of that with 1 gram of 0.44, 1 gram of 0.66, and 1 dot of 0.33. So very light on the colors. We're trying to keep it super light to get you that peach. But this is going to be an amazing color for the summer. I already have clients. I posted this on my Instagram, and I have clients that are like lining up to get that one in. They're like, oh, I want that peach. That peach was really cute. So this is definitely a go-to for the summer. The last one I'm going to show you is our mauve. And this one is my secret favorite. So John, make an appointment for me. Like, but I really like the mauve. So the mauve is 3 grams of 0.22, a dot of 0.6, and 1 gram of 0.11. So what's cool about that is we're using our blue to kind of calm down that violet and just make it like a nice soft color. So what I personally love about these pure mixers is because I can use them as a direct dye and they have a more creamy texture than traditional direct dyes, I have more control over it when I'm applying it to a client's hair. It just is a very smooth application. I'm not fighting with, oh, is it getting saturated all the way through? And hopefully you guys have gotten your kits and you guys can try it and play with it a little bit, but it's amazing as a direct dye. It works better. I get better saturation and I just get to be more creative. The fact that I have these and I can mix them with my color line as well, that means my color corrections have gotten better because I can go in and adjust things. I use our 0.11 on my hair because I pull a lot of gold. And so I use it to kind of calm down and color correct what goes on in my hair. But John, is there anything you wanted to add to the color correction aspect or anything?
With the color correction of you can always, like she was saying, with her formula, she uses, I think, is it a 6.0 now?
Yeah, it's a 6.0.
6.0, and then she can put the 0.11 in there to help cool it down automatically in her hair. She pulls nothing but gold, so you can still see in her hair she has a tiny bit of warmth, but you can imagine without that 0.11 what it would look like. Also, I like to use the 0.33. I do that sparingly, but at the same time, I can do that to get rid of that muddy look that clients get after going outside, coming back like maybe a month and a half later, and then they kind of have that muddy look. It'll help just brighten that back up. Of course, gold is one of my favorite things, especially for summer.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I think is really cool about all of these colors is you can also use them to create custom colors. So like a great example of that, I have a client who she like dreams of being like a level 4 red, and I can create that color for her. While we don't like have that as a selection within the 60 shades, I can create it. So it's entirely limitless. We can do really whatever we want with this color line, which is really cool. And it just gives us more versatility and more ability as stylists. I can't tell you, and John can probably attest to it this week. I had so much fun just mixing swatches. Like I made a really disgusting mint color, like that, like my ratio totally off, but then I was like, oh, who wants mint? Like this is super cool. Like, but you can make so many things, and really like as long as you're referring back to your color wheel, which is so important, you can really mix so many cool things and just really let your creativity go. And I personally really love that this color line gives me the ability to use my creativity to like the best of my abilities.
So real quick, Marta Brown asked if it says 1 to 2 developer. It is. So when you look at these, I'm trying to make sure they're in frame. Mix and ratio is 1 to 2 with 5 volume. Okay, so for these formulas, they're all going to be 1 to 2 with 5 volume.
Yep. And that's the nice part with that, because you're doing that 1 to 2, you do get a really smooth. In previous lines I've used for direct dye, they're very thick and kind of viscous. Like they just have a very like frustrating texture. So when I'm applying an all over fashion color, I end up with like little spots that didn't quite take right because it's hard for you to get in there and make sure it's all fully saturated. With this, like, there's no trouble with that. Like, I have no trouble actually making sure this stuff is entirely saturated. And so I do think what's cool as well, it's the same size tubes. You're not getting less color. You're getting the same amount of pure mixer. This is a little bit, goes a long way with some of these, like, but you're getting a good value for it as well. So that's the bonus for me. The other thing too is because of it being intermixable with everything, we have a lower stock. So for me, I don't really want to have 6 different lines so that I can have fashion colors. Like, what's awesome is as long as I have my 5 pure mixers, I can create any fashion color I need to. And that's just a cool benefit of it as well. So
And one thing to remember with these colors, so when you're using the pure mixers and you add them to your formulation, make sure to go ahead, and you see me do this during Purplicious and all the other classes we've done. I mix the 2 colors first together. I want to blend them together because when the developer goes in, it's a wonderful creamy consistency. So you want to make sure to mix them together first.
yeah, and that's thank you for bringing that up, John, because that's so important. Like when you don't go in and mix those two together, because you have 2 different pigments that are so like heavy in their dye load. When you don't mix those together, they kind of fight with each other, and like it just becomes like you're sitting there mixing for like 35 minutes. Like, oh, I still see a couple chunks of purple, I see a couple chunks of red. Like, so if you just go in and mix it really good, you'll be solid. Like it's an awesome product, and it really just does amazing things, as you can see by with all the swatches. Like you can really make whatever you want, like, and that's super awesome.
One thing I always like to say also is when you're doing your own mixtures at home inside your salons, in other words, if you're trying to make a red brighter, 1 inch is going to be kind of minimal, so it's going to give it a little bit more brightness. Up to 3 inches of the pure mixer is going to make it super bright. Okay, so kind of, I always say minimal, medium, and then you really want it to be seen. Okay, so that's how I kind of look at it, 1, 2, or 3 inches. Now, I do make some purples, and my clients with 5.22 with a lot of violet. And when I mean a lot, it's probably about 5 inches of the 0.22, the violet. And the reason I do that is because they want to see that brightness in there. So no 1 inch, you're going to see it. Okay,
Yeah,
so up to 3 inches, and that's going to be a little bit more of that fashion type color.
for sure. Yep, that's a good thing to keep in mind. Like I try to keep it in grams because then I can replicate it easier for myself. Like I'm honestly a bad judge of what an inch is. So like for me, like an inch, I'm like, is the good thing my home has a ruler on it. So for me, if I do a gram and then I just incrementally go up gram by gram, that's how I keep it straight. So are there any questions?
So far, we just got everybody talking about how they've gotten their color kits. They love them. So
Good.
I love to hear that.
I would love to see if you guys come up, if you guys pull your pure mixers out, please send me some pictures of what you guys have come up with in your formulas, because I think it's so much fun. It's like I had a ball. Like I'm just thinking in fashion colors right now. Like as I was making these swatches, I was just like constantly thinking of like new ways to make fashion colors and whatnot. And so definitely, if you guys are playing with them at home while we're on quarantine or whatever, or once you get back in the salon a little bit, please send like swatches in so we can see what you guys have come up with.
Definitely
So
send them over to the Colors by Gina page also. We would love to share those and see your guys' work.
for sure. Yeah, we would love that. So I do also want to share with you guys a technique. So I have a lot of clients that come in for the summer and they get fashion colors done just for a little bit and they just want a little pop of color. Most of them still have jobs that they have to go to, so they can't go too crazy, but they want something that's just going to give them a little pop of color. So I brought my friend Erica in with me today, and I'm gonna struggle for a second. So just watch out while I struggle. So what I did is I created this I came up with this placement, and I call it a bear claw technique because all things lead back to food in my mind, and so I think it looks like a bear claw when I put this in somebody's hair. But you can kind of see right there. We can see we've kind of sandwiched. I'm turning it the wrong way. We've sandwiched the pieces in there, but you just get like a nice little pop of color without it being too dramatic. It's kind of like a nice way. You could put more of these in to make it more dramatic, but it's a nice way to give people a touch of it. And these were made entirely with our pure mixers. I'm gonna part her hair up. I'm gonna stop trying to do too much. But you can kind of see right there. I'm gonna bring her a little closer. I'm really struggling with like this camera thing.
It's like a mirror.
And like apparently I don't know how mirrors work. Uh, so yeah, so there you can kind of see where we have the two-tone color in there. So this formula, I did a 0.44 as the copper color that's right here. And then I used our ruby rose as our as my middle color. So the ruby rose, that's at 4 grams of 0.22 and the 2 grams of 0.6. So it kind of gives it like a nice like mix between a red and a magenta. So to do this technique, I like to leave. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit, John. Sorry, bear with me. Tell stories, keep them entertained.
Some stories.
So to do this one, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be leaving a halo of about 1/4 of an inch all the way around her hairline, just because we want to kind of keep it so that it is more of a subtle application. I'm going to keep 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to be parting out a diagonal section. So I'm going to clean this up because it looks a little confusing right now. So I'm going to do everything on a diagonal. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to come in and take a diagonal parting. And then I'm going to weave that diagonal parting out. So there we have our nice chunky weave. I like it chunky because that way you're going to get more of a dramatic end result. And I just like drama, so I want as much drama as possible. At least in my hair. I don't want it in my life, just in my hair. Sorry, excuse my reach for a second. And I actually mixed up some of our 3 Deluxe, or not 3 Deluxe, I'm sorry, Colors by Gina lightning dust. So I've got my lightning dust on there, and I'm just going to apply that through there. So the cool part with this too, if you're wanting something that's a little bit more subtle, you could leave a slice in between each foil. Because I'm going for dramatic, I'm doing back to back so that you get that nice kind of strong look to it.
We're getting a question on the Ruby Rose formula again, so I'm just going to put this up here so you can see it. It's 4 grams 0.22, 2 grams 0.66, mix in 1 to 2 with 5 volume. So I'm going to leave this up for just a second so that you can make sure to write it down. Go ahead, Chenille, sorry.
No, you're good. So our second foil we are going to do, and this is cool because it's a 3 foil technique. So like you don't need to spend hours doing this. This is a quick upgrade to any service. Like somebody's like, oh, I just want a little something fun for the summer. So the next one is going to be a slice. So you're going to get like a nice little sandwich piece. You still want to be able to see through it. I want to be able to see my fingers through it. But we're going to take that and put our slice in. And I just have to say, guys, like I've worked with a lot of like bleaches in the past with mannequins, and I hate the way lighteners lighten on mannequins. I love the way lightning dust affects my mannequin. In the past, like to be able to do a fashion color, I would have had to lighten her out twice, 2 or 3 times. Wow, that dyslexia is really like season up on me today. So I would have to do it 2 or 3 times. With the lightning dust, I only had to do it once. So like if that's on a mannequin's hair, that's already kind of difficult. Imagine like how awesome that lightning dust is on your client's hair. And then my last parting, so this is my 3rd parting. We're going to go back in. And so this one's a little tricky, and I'm going to try to explain it best, but definitely ask questions if you're confused. Because of the way I want it to lay, I'm going to take a weave, but I'm going to take the part that I weave out on the top and pull that up, and I'm going to drop this down. Because what that's going to do is that's going to create more of a W pattern, like what we like in a balayage. And that's going to just kind of give it like a faux balayage within the foil packet. Whew, man.
Struggle bus today.
English is hard, guys. So guys, I want to know which one is your favorite formula of the ones that I worked up for you guys.
Remember, we have the ruby rose, we have the lava, just peachy, and the mauve. I personally love lava. I know it sounds funny, but lava is this beautiful color that it's not quite orange because it has that red and it has that yellow to it to really give it that flamey look.
All right. So there we go. There we have our 3 foil packets. So what I would do is I'm going to let her process. I'm going to let Erica process. And she's just going to sit and chill. And I would then shampoo her hair, condition her hair, and then apply, or I would actually dry the area, just to make sure, because we also do want to condition. That's different from other direct dyes. Like, we want to condition because we want all the porosity of the hair to be the same. And so we want to make sure that we're conditioning. And then what I would do is I would actually dry the area just because I want a vibrant application. I would dry the area and then I would reapply my pure mixers, and then she would be rocking her cool little pizza boots for the summer. She'd be all summer ready.
So it looks like we have a lot of people that love the mauve. They love the
Oh,
lava. Actually, we're getting all the colors on there. Peach, of course, because I think peach is one of those fun ones to make. Can you show that mauve once again?
of course.
So you
Let's
guys love that color. And once again, the mauve. Here is your mix-in ratios.
I think mauve is one of those colors that's like almost impossible. People bring this in all the time. Like I have people all the time that come in and they're like, oh, I just love this purple. And it's this mauve color and it's impossible to make like with other direct dyes. And I love, this was one of the first swatches I made. Like I was like, oh, look, mauve, done, boom, mic drop. Like, and it's just so easy. It's awesome.
And swatching is something very important, especially right now. If you're in between clients, if you're still at home because your state hasn't opened up yet, if you have the swatches and you have the color, now you get your time. Use your brain and think of these amazing colors that you can come up with. Have fun with it and get your creativity going while you're sitting at home. It really helps get through these times. I know Colorado is open. We've been open, I think, for a little bit over about a week.
Mm-hmm.
A week and 2 days. I know that Florida, congratulations, guys, they're back at work this morning. And other states are starting to open up. And of course, of safety precautions, make sure to follow those rules of your state. And even here, like we have our mask. So I'm inside my room, so I don't actually need my mask on because I am by myself. But anytime I leave this, I do wear my mask, of course, because that's what the state has asked of us, and we'll do whatever to comply to make sure that we can be safe for us and our clients. Sorry, I just had to go on that little speech real quick. But with these pure mixers, you have seen us make pinks, red, in any type of red. You've seen us make the purplicious, and now these 4 amazing colors. Now, this is just a couple of our colors that we have in our line of Colors by Gina. Of course, you see the pure mixers here. So we have the 0.11, the 0.22, 0.33, 0.44, and 0.66. Okay, so I just kind of want to keep showing those to people. And which one do you think would be best in my hair? But
definitely 0.11. You know, I'm team cool hair all the way around.
So do you have anything you wanted to add to this, Chenille?
No, I just wanted to say thank you guys for like actually like progressing during this time. Like this is such a cool time that we get to grow and like we get to learn. And I firmly believe Colors by Gina is an amazing color line. And once you start playing with it, it really does unlock your creativity. I feel like they gave you such a good base for us to be able to just grow and play, and like it's like a safe zone where we get to play with it and whatnot. And I firmly believe that you guys are doing so amazing and we're going to get through this, and I'm proud of all of you.
Oh, and Chenille, they want to know what's your formula in your hair.
Oh, my formula for my hair? Okay. So I'm a color correction. So I know a lot of you saw me in Vegas, and I had black hair. So I've been on a year-long journey to get my hair closer to my natural. So my natural is like about a 7.1. So what I actually do is I leave my roots out now. I have a couple baby light highlights that are toned with a 8.1. And my all over color now I'm doing a lot of brunette toning now, like where I'm not necessarily coloring my hair, but I'm using a toner. So I actually shift my shade up. So naturally I'm about a 7 or a 6, and I use an 8.1. And I do all this with 5 volume. So I use an 8.1, a 0.11 and a 0.02, and I mix all those together, a 1 to 1.5 ratio, or 1 to 2.5, depending on how much pigment, or not 1 to 2.5, 1 to 2, depending on how much pigment I want, how much red or gold I pulled. And I just let it process for 35 minutes and I'm solid.
So we do have a question of how would we make these a little bit more pastel with the colors that you're making?
So that's a great question. I love that question. So what you're gonna do if you're wanting to go with more of a pastel, I'm gonna steal some stuff for a second. You're gonna want to add some of our toners to it. So we have a 0.1, a 0.01, and a 0.02, and that's going to mute it down a little bit. So that's how we made more of like the pastel peach color. Is we added a 0.02, and then we added less of the pigments.
I think we lost
I think you
Chenille.
guys might have lost.
Oh, there
Did
she
you
is.
lose me in my back? Okay, I'm I don't know what happened. My phone just had a seize up moment. So when we're doing a pastel, you want to kind of like mute that color, almost like diluting it a little bit. And so we want to dilute it. So when we're using a 0.01, it's a neutral blue base. So you want to keep that in mind always when we're formulating if you need a blue base or a violet base, because we also have a 0.02. And the 0.02 is going to be your violet. So you just want to decide depending on what tones you want to go with. But that's a way you can make a pastel, is by using this as your base. So like I would start with like 5 grams of something like this, and then use my pure mixers, like either a gram or half a gram even, and just use a little bit less and then mix it to what I want it to look like. And swatch it first.
Always swatch it if you can, especially when you're making these colors, because it's just going to help you so much when you swatch it.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, like I know we can see it and it does like visually develop in the bowl, but there's something about being able to see what it's going to come out as that I think just gives us security. At least gives me security.
Okay, well, we're just about at our time. So just as a reminder to everybody, as you start getting into your salon, excuse me, make sure to book yourself lunch breaks. Chenille and I have learned the hard way on this. You want to make sure to book yourself enough time in between to clean. Here in Colorado, we had to move everything to 15 minutes of cleaning. You can't eat your lunch in front of your clients. We have to go outside to eat or somewhere where there's nobody else. So keep those things in mind as you're rebooking your clients so you're not hurting yourself in the future with this. Just some personal info I wanted to let you guys know. Also, I want you guys to hang in there because we have color bees coming up here in about 30 minutes with Gina Rivera, our founder, and she made this amazing color line for all of us, the Curated Colors by Gina. Also next week, we have Molly Hardy with Color Melting. It's going to be next Monday, I believe at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So make sure you tune into that also. So now that we have all this taken care of, and make sure you come back in 30 minutes for Color Bees, some exciting news from Gina Rivera. So thank you guys so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. And have a great week, everybody.
Thank you guys. You have a great week.
Bye.